you will see your keyboard warriors out there going ham
Ooh, I love
about
that. The keyboard warriors. I taught for 20 years. Ready? Brace yourselves. I didn't like all of my students.
surprise.
I didn't.
So this will tell you, 3 kids, all academically strong kids. So you take 12 years of education, K to 12, times 3, I think that's 36, right?
Yes, it
I had
is.
5 phone calls.
Wow.
5. I know exactly who they are. Yeah, that's it. 5 phone calls in 36 years of education. I want you to grab a mirror and grab it in front of your son or your daughter in your face, because the problem is you. It's not the school. So let me tell you what happens when you call me, and I don't know a thing of what you're talking about, because guess what? You aren't going to source. You think you're making a statement by coming to me. Nothing's going to get solved. I'm going to say this.
Let me go talk to that
Let me go
teacher.
talk to the teacher.
Exactly.
And you know what I really want to say? Ready? Because I'll say it what every administrator wants to say. Since you're too chicken or too lazy too, let me go straight to the source of where you're having the problem. Empathize with them. Tell them, I hear it. I understand what you're saying. I can tell you're frustrated. I know this is difficult, and I'm so sorry. What can we agree is a core minimum that we have to have in regards to building trust? Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another podcast with Tools for Success. I am joined with the one, the only, the Christina. So Christina and I go a long way back.
Long
way back. So I am excited to have her on this morning because we're going to do a series really looking at education. As those of you that have watched this podcast for a long time know, that's what my company does. We work with educators. I'm a former educator myself, 20 years in a classroom and then 10 years as a principal before starting Tools for Success. So I really asked Christina to come on this morning because I wanted to talk about the parent's view. Which I think sometimes we as educators forget. So thank you. Thanks for joining me.
You're
and
welcome.
Thanks for being here. So the title of this one is called Partners, Not Opponents, Building a Strong Parent-School Relationship. So when we look at the title, what's the first thing that came to your mind?
Man, how do we do that as
Yeah.
parents? You know, the world seems against us sometimes for teachers and as parents because neither one of us can get it right. So how do we...
It feels adversarial anymore, doesn't it?
It does. It's like you're either on one side or the other.
That's it.
And
That's
so how do we fix that?
That's it. And I think that's why I wanted to do this podcast, because Christine brings a wealth of knowledge. She has children herself.
Yes, I do.
She's a mom. And what I love is grown children and a child in school.
Yes.
So has seen it and is seeing it. And I think that brings a wealth of knowledge that I really want to share about. So what I want you, it's you to remember, I've lived on the other side of the world kind of a lot, and I've had children.
Yeah.
So I know my perspective, but I don't want to hear my perspective. I want you to think about when you think about strong relationships between a parent and school. And I think anyone who watches anything in the media will have it that parents, you know, we hear these stories all the time of parents putting social media posts out about schools and trash talking their schools.
Yeah.
That's not the vast majority of parents.
Thanks so much for joining the Tools for Success podcast. Every school faces challenges, things like disengaged students, overwhelmed teachers, and leaders stretched far too thin. At Tools for Success, we've been there too. Our team of licensed administrators and former teachers partner with schools to turn those challenges into growth. Through tailored professional development, we help teachers build confidence, leaders feel supported, and students thrive. Because at the end of the day, student success is what matters most. It starts with just one conversation. Schedule your complimentary consultation at toolsforsuccessindy.com. Now, back to our podcast.
That's not the vast majority of parents. The vast majority of parents are dealing with, I think, where Christine is, which is, I want to be involved in my child's school. I don't want to be an advocate. I want to be an ally, but I don't know how. So what does that look like?
Right. So I think the biggest stepping stone in that is community. How can you be an ally when you don't understand your community or the community that your child participates in? So involvement, would be number one for me. And also, and you're right. And a lot of these parents are in the same boat as me. You will see your keyboard warriors out there going ham
Oh, I love
about
that. The keyboard warriors. Yeah.
Going off.
10 feet, I always say 10 feet tall behind a screen and a keyboard.
Yes,
But nothing to your face.
on the local town page
Amen.
about
Amen.
what happened at school today.
Amen.
But you have so many great kids that want to go to school. They're there for an education. They're there to make friends. They're there to be involved in their activities in school and their community. And so how do you do that without including both parents and teachers in that community?
So let me think of a couple things. What can a school do to make a parent feel welcome? Because I think, we have to remember too, as a school, y'all have full-time jobs.
Yes.
You are raising not just that one child that I have in my classroom. Many of you are raising multiple. And it's so easy for us as an educator to sit back and say, well, you just don't care.
Yeah.
You just don't care. That's not why you're there. What can a school do to make you feel more welcomed?
I think probably the number one thing is communicate concisely.
What does that mean?
For me, that means don't just send me an email about every single thing that's happening. Yes, I want to know what's happening, but also being able to communicate concisely to what is important at that grade level, not just the whole school, what's important at your child's grade level, what's important at, what are their sports and also in their, education, everything in there. And also how to welcome the community into the school. So community is the number one word, but what can they do? All those things, the parent days, the having community events with the school involved, and just having people show up. Just show up.
Yeah, I remember putting on those parent meetings so many times and saying, the parents whom I really need to be here aren't here.
Yes.
And the parents who I didn't really need to be here are here. And so it gets discouraging on your school's end because it feels like I'm doing these for the wrong people. What I'm hearing you say is, no, keep doing them.
Keep doing them.
Keep doing them.
You have to. And, we're given choices now. We talked about this the other day. We don't have a parent-teacher at our school conference anymore. It's just a day. And it's
couldn't believe that when you said that.
Hey, if you want to show up and care about your kid, then please do so. And that's great because the people that need to show up or want to show up are going to show up, but the people that need to show up aren't going to show up.
Yeah, and I think it's so funny. I say this to teachers all the time, and I think you're saying the same thing. We spend so much time in the classroom stressing about the one child that isn't learning, and I'm not saying that we should diminish that. Don't anybody send me hate emails that I said that. I did not say that. But what I said is we spend so much time on that we don't focus on those that want to be there. And it's the same thing with parents. We sit around in teacher workrooms and in administrative meetings and say, right, we had that meeting and we had 200 freshmen and only 80 parents showed up last night. We need to celebrate the 80 that came there.
Right, because we're focused on what's wrong.
That's right. We're focusing on who's not there. And at the end of the day, who's not going to be there is who's not going to be there.
Right.
And who's not going to learn, who doesn't want to know. But I think I love that you said that it's all about consistency and I love the concise. I know I can be a tad bit wordy, just a little bit. Right, just a tad bit wordy. And I used to have to sometimes think with my emails, what is it that they need to know? I'll never forget leaving a freshman meeting with a group of parents and one of my counselors, and oh my gosh, they told them about 4 years and all this planning and all of this. And I sat them down in the auditorium when it was over and I said, don't do that again.
Right.
They're just trying to get through the first semester of that child's freshman year.
Yeah. Because as parents, we don't have time. And as teachers, you don't have time.
No.
So conciseness
Right.
is
Tell them what they need to know.
Bottom line up front.
That's
Let me
it,
know
when
what
they
I
need to know it. Yep.
Thanks for listening to Tools for Success podcast. What if 1 minute could change your day? A Gentle Walk, the new faith-based journal by our founder, Cathy Tooley, offers one prompt, one prayer, one small step closer to God. Start your Gentle Walk today. Learn more and get your copy by visiting Warren Publishing in the link below. Now back to the podcast.
So I want you to think as a parent. So great. I love this idea about communication. What works, what doesn't? What's the best means of communication? What works and what do you love?
So we're in the world of social media right now. And I don't know that I love every single communication coming through an app, coming through social media. And what I do love, which takes time from the teachers, and I understand that, I love a call. I love a call. I love a message left. I love being able to hear a voice on the other side instead of feeling like it's a spam email going out that everybody's getting. I want to be able to connect. And that's what we're missing.
I said this to so many people that I think emails, texts should convey facts.
Yep.
9 o'clock, meeting at 2. This is the address. That's what an email or a text is for.
Yeah.
But I think we've lost just the ability to pick up the phone
Right.
and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And not because your child's doing anything wrong. I used to challenge myself as a teacher that I was never going to let a semester go by. And I had 150, 200 kids that I didn't speak to every parent. And it was always interesting when I talked to the parent, like, probably your children who aren't doing anything. And I said, just want to call and let you know. She's a delight to have in class. Thank you so much. You could hear the parent on the other end saying, and I said, no, that's it. That's all I wanted. Just wanted to tell you thank you.
I tell you what, I got a phone call this year and I was having a bad day. I was just having a bad day. And my daughter's favorite teacher, she loves him, talks Mr. D. If you're out there, you watch this. She loves him. And he's just so fun for her to be in class with. And he called me and he's like, you know what? You have the best kid. And he's like, she's hilarious. And I'm like, well, she's like me, I know. But to get that call when you're having a bad day, like God knows that you just needed that to hear that you're doing something right that day. And teachers don't understand sometimes that their words mean so much to us as parents. Just that little,
say that again.
They so much to us
Say
as
that
parents.
again.
The little bit of time, and we know that they're working too. They have kids too. Like their day is spent the same way ours is, equally as busy.
But I disagree that when they're at work, their job is your child.
Yes, but I'm saying like they go home and have a family too.
Not asking them to call after they leave, but we are there's a podcast that we're going to do a recording on about how you spend your time as a teacher.
Yeah.
And it is, I just want to stay there for that moment. That is so precious that it matters so much, that phone call. And you don't want to be on a phone call with them for 12 days.
No.
2 minutes.
I want a 2-minute. She's
you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yes.
Have a good day.
Thank you for what you do too.
Every teacher that is listening to this, hear that. Hear that. She's not asking you to get on. Matter of fact, she don't have time for you to get on the phone with her for 45 minutes. Just think about what your day would look like if you found every day that child to celebrate. And even you'd be okay if it was a voicemail. You wouldn't have been mad, right? If the teacher called and couldn't catch you.
Made me smile.
And I'll bet you'd have kept the voicemail.
Yes, forever.
So that's what I'm saying. I think we get panicked as teachers, like, I don't have time to chase her. I don't want to bother at work. We all live in a world of cell phones now. And if Christina's busy and can't take the call, it's going to be on silent. But that voicemail just means so much. So I think there's no such thing as too much communication.
Yeah.
But that is the takeaway I was praying that this would take. And it is that we're still humans. That's what separates us from the dogs and the cats. We're humans, and we need that human connection. So I have, well, you know this, Christine, but for those of you that don't, I have 3 children. So this will tell you, 3 kids, all academically strong kids. So you take 12 years of education, K to 12, times 3, I think that's 36, right?
Yes, it is.
I had 5 phone calls.
Wow.
5. I know exactly who they are. That's it. 5 phone calls in 36 years of education. Now, I don't say that to berate any of my kids' teachers. My kids had an amazing education. But the challenge is this, and I wanted you to hear it from a parent. I knew it as an educator because I'm a parent too. But I wanted you to hear it from a parent whom I respect, that it's that connection. It's that you really want to know when it says building stronger parent communications. Because I'm going to tell you now, if you're that teacher and you call that parent and you just tell her what a great job that her daughter's doing, if that same teacher called back in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks with an issue, she is all ears.
Yep, absolutely.
Because she's already gained an ally. And it's not about manipulating. He was being honest with you.
It's the care.
It's the care. It's the care. It's the, we've done so many shorts and YouTube reels on parents are not allies, are not adversaries. And I think it's teachers get scared because if you look at those keyboard warriors, as you call them, and I
Oh
love
my
that,
gosh.
that's damning as a teacher.
Yeah.
That's hard.
It's already hard.
It's already a hard job.
Yeah.
And to think I'm going to pick up the phone to that, guess what, teachers? Guess what? They aren't coming to your meetings. They aren't the ones that are there. They're not there. This is who's coming to your meetings. And they want you to pick up the phone. So thank you. One last question I want to ask about communication. Is there any kind of communication that frustrates you as a parent? Or no, is all communication good communication to you?
Yeah, I don't think anything frustrates me.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Like you can't, if I choose not to read it, or if it's, a mass
They have that
email,
little trash box.
Right.
Right.
I get to choose.
Right.
But it's not going to frustrate me. Like so our school every Sunday sends out a parent square. You know what parent square is? Just about everything that happened that week and everything that's happening next week. I'm sure there's a ton of parents that throw that in the trash, but I get to choose if I want to read it. And, I read it because I want to know what's going on. But like, thank you for the communication because I get to choose whether or not I want to participate in everything that's going on or not participate. But at least I get the choice.
I had a parent say to me one time when she was walking into, it was a sophomore meeting, I'll never forget this. Okay, so I've received all 14 communications about this meeting. And I looked over at it and I go, you're welcome. Because what you can't claim is you didn't know anything about it.
Right. We're busy.
We're
We
busy.
forget.
And I immediately would have saw that and put it on my calendar, but not everybody
Everybody
like
operates
that.
the same
So it's
way.
like that. So thank you. So how I want to shift. So thank you. How do you? I think the biggest issue, in my opinion, having lived, I always say that I've got the blessing of living in both worlds. I'm an educator, and I born and raised that, and I'm a mom. So it was always interesting to me to sit around, and you know that, and those of you that are watching this that are parents know what I call those TV conversations or dinner table conversations. There are certain teachers' names both positively
And negatively.
How is it, what do you wish that teachers understood from a parent's perspective, especially to those teachers that are like, yeah, but I've read all those negative things and I've read all those nasty things and I'm scared about, if you've read some of those social media posts, and then don't you love the people that start commenting on them? Just think, oh, dear Lord. I don't know how many times I have spoken from someone who's never lived a day in education. Because people think that they know how to run a school because they drive by it or have a kid there. Yeah, you don't know a ding-dong thing. So what do you wish? What would you say to those, especially those young educators, or especially that educator that's had that nasty phone call? What would you say to them?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, we talk about being human and loving one another and how that works. And I think the teachers get to know that it's okay that you don't have to like my child every day.
That's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Thanks for being a part of the Tools for Success podcast. At Tools for Success, we believe every student deserves a classroom where learning thrives. That's why we partner with schools to equip teachers and administrators with practical, research-based professional development that makes a real difference. From mastering classroom management to building data-driven strategies, our programs empower educators with tools and confidence to transform challenges into success. The result? Engaged teachers, supported leaders, and students who are prepared for the future. It starts with one conversation. So let's chat. Go to toolsforsuccessindy.com and click on Schedule Conversation, and let's see what we can do to help your students thrive. Now, back to our podcast.
And
There are kids, I know people are get mad when I say this, ready? I taught for 20 years, ready? Brace yourselves. I didn't like all of my students.
surprise.
I didn't.
It's okay not to like
Because
every
I have a
single one of them.
personality and they didn't match it. I taught them,
Yeah.
but I didn't like them.
Yeah. And I think it's okay for teachers to feel like their responsibility is teaching, and it doesn't. That's it. It does
That's
not
it.
have to be raising our kids.
That's it. Oh my gosh. Boom, put that one in a short. Somebody put that one in a short. Right. Our job is not to be we didn't give birth to them.
Right.
We didn't go through labor and delivery.
Right.
We weren't there when they took their first steps. We won't be there probably when they take their last breath. Our job is that blip
Right.
Right there.
And
So
not even all of it, just a piece of it.
That's right, just a piece of it.
Right.
Just a piece of it. So what do you say to a teacher right now that says, yeah, but I've called parents before and they're nasty. They're hateful to me. What would you say to that teacher?
Call a different one.
Call a different one. Yeah.
You don't have to be stuck on that one.
Right.
You don't have to be stuck on that one. And there's so much good. There's so much good. Don't let the bad affect you every single day. Don't let that one kid.
Yeah, I used to say to teachers that I coached often, remember, when you're calling a parent, you are stepping into the moment of their lives in that moment. You don't know what happened at work today.
Right.
You don't know what's going on in their relationships. And often when they're mad at their child.
Right. Has nothing to do
Has
with
nothing
the
to do
teacher.
with you. So empathize with them. Tell them, I hear it. I understand what you're saying. I can tell you're frustrated. I know this is difficult, and I'm so sorry. And then I always say, make a few good calls. It'll make you feel a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start with the bad one and end with the good one.
I always did. I used to Oreo sandwich, but you know the
Yeah,
Oreo
I
sandwich.
know the Oreo
Start with
sandwich.
one that I'm not looking forward to. Fill it with those that were good, and then end with because it makes it thing. All right. How do you handle a situation when conflict happens? So because it's going to happen.
It's gonna
Your
happen.
teachers are going to make a decision to teach this, not teach this, to grade this a certain way that you feel absolutely different about. What do you say when conflict happens?
It's going to happen.
I love that. Yeah.
It's
this
going to
naive
happen.
idea that we could just get along
Right.
and never have.
All of our kids are different. And if your kid, if your kid's going to give trouble to the teacher, we, for one, live in a neurodivergent household. And, my older kids and my younger one, or some of us are on the spectrum. Some of us have ADHD. And I know that my kids are not all angels.
Right. Me too. Shock. It's a shock. But they aren't. Right.
They aren't. So, why are you surprised?
Sometimes when
Why
they
are
call
you-
and tell me my oldest
Yeah.
daughter was talking, I thought, oh, just today?
Well,
that's a good day.
and I think too, in those moments, sometimes as parents, we feel small, and we try to make the problem small.
But I think schools do a good job of trying to make you feel small. We sit up here on this holier,
Yeah.
we're all this
Well,
educated
let's
group
back
of people.
and forth.
That's
You
it.
need to be parenting. You need to be teaching. You
That's
need to be
it.
parenting. You need to be teaching.
That's it. We throw around acronyms that we know you don't understand. We throw around and say things that we make ourselves feel lofty and wonder why parents don't feel welcome and invited. So when there's conflict, how would you like to receive a phone call where we won't say your child's name because, but where she's wrong, she's dead wrong. How would you like?
Just tell me.
Just tell me. Cut to the chase.
Don't fluff about. Just get to the point.
Right.
Not
In
that
fact,
not
that's
that my baby ever gets in trouble
Of
because she's
course,
an
right,
angel.
Right. Mine either. Mine either. Right.
But just call me.
Hypothetically, if that ever
Yeah,
happened.
hypothetically.
Right.
Just call me and get to the point. Great. But call me and get to the point.
So what do you do when my point, I'm going to do this with your child? Let's talk about the one that's in school, and you vehemently disagree with that choice.
Well, I listen first.
Okay.
And try to understand their point of view. And I ask questions. You can ask questions.
Yeah.
I ask a lot
Help
of
me
questions.
understand that.
Help me
Help-
to understand why this is going this direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what parents know, those that are great parents know that, there is a law, folks, that when your child crosses the threshold, a school trumps your responsibility. You don't have more rights to your child than we do. When they cross that threshold and come into school, because as a school, we are responsible now for all of the children, not just yours. So the moment your child crosses my threshold, you can't just walk in and just take your child. Not without me knowing what's going on, because they're in my safety and my concern now. No differently than you would want me to just let them walk out the front door because they wanted to. It's not up to you anymore. And I think parents lose that. Have you seen that commercial? Or that cartoon that's out there now? I know people think it's funny. I don't. And it says then and now, and it shows a then where it was the child sitting in the seat, and it's the parent and the teacher and the mom and dad and the teacher kind of pointing at the student with an F grade. And then it said now, and it's the teacher sitting in the seat, and the student and the mom and the dad pointing at the teacher. Do you think that's true?
Yes.
What do we do to change that?
Accept responsibility.
But how do we get people to do that?
I don't know that you can make, obviously, like you can't make anyone do anything. But we're living in a world where it's always somebody else's fault.
It is. It is.
And I think the way that we grew up, you know, I'm an 80s kid. So like we were left outside all hours
I was outside, me too.
to fend for ourselves. And the growing up now is always somebody else's fault. Like you don't have the same opportunity, or the same opportunity is not created of kids learning to fail. They're not failing like they used to.
Amen. Amen. And I think it creates its own. I say one of the things I think I'm most proud of all three of my kids, well, two of them for sure, is they'll accept responsibility.
Yeah.
We are not perfect. We saw me this morning. I began my morning with an apology. When you're wrong, you're wrong. It's not a big deal. Just say I'm sorry and move on. You just move on. I don't get it.
Thanks so much for tuning into our podcast. At Tools for Success, we know education because all of our consultants are licensed administrators and former teachers. We've been in your shoes and we know what works. That's why schools partner with us for professional development that equips educators, supports leaders, and transforms classrooms. We know student outcomes are your very highest priority. Let's talk about how we can help your students achieve more. Go to toolsforsuccessindy.com and click on schedule your consultation today. Back to the podcast.
Okay, last question before I want to do this on what I call speed round, which I love my new speed round thing I'm going to do this time. And it's talking about building, it's about building trust. I want you to think about the teachers that you didn't necessarily like.
Yeah.
Because you've had them. You've had them, just like they may not have liked you. But what can we agree as a core minimum that we have to have in regards to building trust?
Respect.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Bottom line.
Yeah. You have to respect what I do as an educator. Yeah. And I think we live in a world of choice now. So if you I always find it's interesting when a parent is complaining about their school and then they moved them to another school and they're complaining about that school.
Yes.
And they move them to another school. So I want you here, focus in on me here. I want you to listen to me. When you're moving to multiple schools and the problem is still the same, I want you to grab a mirror and grab it in front of your son or your daughter in your face, because the problem is you. It's not the school. It's not the school. I have had so many family members who brag about blah, 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 school district didn't do whatever. So I moved them here. And then within 3 months, guess what? And then at the end of the school year, they move them again and again. The common denominator is what? And I think I want this to be said. I know there are nasty teachers out there. I know there are. And there are going to be some. Don't send me a nasty comment that no, they're not, because they're right down the hallway. You know who they are. I could have named them, who are so hateful in every aspect of their life. So I'm sure dealing with a parent is no different. But that is not education. They're an anomaly. There are nasty police officers. That doesn't make the police bad. I've encountered some awful electricians. Awful. That doesn't make every electrician bad. So it's respect. You have to, at the end of the day, you have to respect what we do. And we went to school and we got degrees and we've been doing this and we know what we're doing. So, all right. Ready for speed rescue question?
Go.
I love these.
Speed.
It's called the one thing. Okay? What's one thing schools should stop doing right now? Stop it. If they really want to go back to what we talked about, which is building this relationship. Stop it.
One thing they can stop doing right now, being silent.
Ooh. Or worrying. Yeah, like you said, it's the fear of the keyboard warriors. Yeah.
Stop being silent.
Stop it. Okay. What's one thing schools should start doing immediately?
Communicating more.
No matter what.
No matter what.
So is there such a thing as too much communication?
I don't think so.
I agree. I absolutely agree. What's one thing that parents should be doing differently if we really want to start changing this relationship?
Drop your expectations and stop assigning blame.
Ooh. Okay. I'm just going to let that land right where it is. Okay. Social media versus direct communication.
Direct communication.
Right. Pick up the phone.
Yeah, like I love social media. It is fun. I love making little videos. I love social media.
We're sitting here now. This will be on social media.
right. I love it.
But it has a place.
Yeah, but you spend more time a day with my kid than I do. Give me a call.
Okay, perfect. Parents going straight to the principal before speaking to...
Stop it. It makes me, it's just like work. It makes me, burns my riches. Call the teacher. Call the person you're having an issue with. Why are you calling the principal?
You know what's funny?
You're going to call them and they're going to know nothing about what happened.
So again, ready? Parents that are listening to this, ready? Let me tell you, I've been a principal and I've been a teacher. So let me tell you what happens when you call me. And I don't know a thing of what you're talking about. Because guess what? You aren't going to source. You think you're making a statement by coming to me. Nothing's going to get solved. I'm going to say this.
Let me go talk to that teacher.
Let me go talk to the teacher.
Exactly.
And you know what I really want to say? Ready? Because I'll say what every administrator wants to say. Since you're too chicken or too lazy to, let me go straight to the source of where you're having the problem. Diggy. And then I'm going to go to the teacher and say, Miss So-and-so called me, and then tell the teacher to call. So let me help you. There is no situation that you should go straight to the principal unless your teacher has done something illegal or immoral. Then you come straight to me. You find out about something happening, child exploitation, something like that, or there's been some kind of violence, or that you come to me. But because you have an issue with oh my gosh, say it again. I hope this ends up in a short. Because you're having an issue with what's happening in your child's classroom, I don't know what's happening. Matter of fact, you know what I used to say to a parent? You know the two stupidest people about this situation? You and me. Because we weren't there.
Right.
And then they would say, well, you don't know what's happening in your classrooms every day? And I would go, no. I've talked to God, and I have 200 teachers. And why he can't split me into 200 pieces to be in every single classroom, every single minute, every single day, I do not know. Talk to the Lord, because I can't. I'm trying to run a building. No, I have no clue what's happening every moment in every second of every day. So, okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
A couple more. Schools becoming defensive when concerns are raised. One thing you wish people knew.
One thing I wish I knew, schools becoming defensive when questions are raised. Well, they're getting attacked.
Yeah.
They're on the defense all the time because it's constant attack.
Yeah, agreed. And parents assuming the worst of teachers. Why? Yeah.
I think they want someone else to blame besides themselves.
Yeah. So I want anything else. If you could speak to every one parent for 5 minutes, what would you want them to know about schools from your perspective?
For 5 minutes is a long time, but
You'll just take a couple.
We'll just take a couple. I think what I want them to know is the more involved that you are, the more involved your child will be, the more involved your teacher will be, the more involved your friends and family will be. Like, it's a collective to help. This one child is a collective, and you have thousands of kids in a school district. So I think I want them all to know is, like, you're in charge of your child's education, their teachers, their school. Right. The teacher that they have for one semester is not going to make the difference in the lifespan. They may be an amazing teacher.
And may write a little bit on the slate of their soul, but they're not going to be there with them for the next 50 years.
Right. 8th grade English does not put a stamp in that passport.
No, it does not. No. Thank you for being with me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to do another series about or another topic on adversarial relationships. So thank you as always. And don't forget to follow us and like us and do all the things you're supposed to do. Have a great day, everybody.